Go live. Let's see what happens. Huh? I clicked the
Okay, then.
button. It says
We're
go
live.
live. Are we live?
Yes, we're live.
I've clicked the button. It says go live. Let's see what's the worst that can happen, mate. What's the worst that can happen? Let's refresh it and see if something happens here. Shit, it's live. Mad Prize, take it over, man. The Indian guy can't really work the kit.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, tech support has failed us this day. And welcome to Mad Reaction episode 7. And of course, Ralph, we know you're here. You're in control today. That's why everything's half-assed. Never trust the Indian.
You just can't get, you call your typical Indian call center and fucking the day is ruined, right?
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Have you tried turning it off? Right, steady. So yeah, the context is a lot of people, especially all my good old BNP mates, have just sent me this clip that says, that really sort of like stone-looking guy, zero hedge news, had interviewed Eddie Butler, and I was like, so what? Who cares? But then apparently he has a good section where he has a pop-it PA, has a pop-it mark, so that we can't let such things. If there's a gay butler for Brighton having a pop-it PA, 9999 dollars cents. We should deal with this. So 9. So I thought we'd have a little quick look, if that's all right. We can watch the whole thing. It's quite long, but we don't need to do that. I think I'm going to do. Let me share my screen, and we'll let him. We'll give little Miss Butler a little chance to at least segue or waltz into PA. So let me just put this stuff up. Let's make sure the call center worker clicks the right buttons this time. Let's make sure that goes up over here. And before you even know it, Robert is this coming through, guys? Cool. So yippee, that looks better. Right. Okay, so shall we have a little listen in?
Yep.
And then we'll have a look and see what Miss Butler, who's serving for Brighton, has to say. Let's go click play. We'll give Eddie a little chance to get into it.
See that the media, if the media smear us as being total nasty swines of the worst order, and then people come and see us and we're not, the difference between what they're told, which we wouldn't be, of course, we wouldn't appear as swines of the worst order. You can't meet us in person. The reality of meeting us and the image would be so different that would actually work in our favor as well. So whatever the media do ends up working in our favor, and we would inevitably grow and grow. There's so much slack to take up. We would grow and grow and grow. Each success would lead to greater success.
And your internet support's growing, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
So you can afford a bounce on the media.
I'm just incorrect. I couldn't help that one. I can't help that one. I'm sorry I had to give blood today because these doctors won't leave me alone with this COVID shit. But are you joking? Are you serious? Have you looked at For Britain's data on just look? I've run it through Social Blade statistics. Have you looked? You've got almost no support and very little traction from any of your videos anymore. Compare that just to Mark or just to Laura or just to Waze or just to Morgoth. Even any one of the alt-right voices are much larger than any of you. So when the stone guy on the left goes, but your internet thing is growing, I'm not sure what the fucking data he's looking at, mate. Just any one of your videos. The only time they've actually got any good traction is when we descended or the Groypers descended on them. Right?
That's what they're talking about.
What are they talking about? The big videos they had, Chris, all the Groypers went in and they had like hundreds and hundreds of comments and thousands of ticks one way or the other. And then when we went away, because they basically banned us all, because we know for Brighton is not for free speech, then all the volume and traffic just fell off a cliff again. But just an ordinary video from Laura or Mark or something gets more statistics and data and tractions and comments than all of your silly little stuff put together. So please, don't tell the stone guy lies.
Yeah, and it would get to the stage where probably the Tory party would again start talking the talk. They would never walk the walk, but they'd start talking the talk again to try and steal votes. If you handle it the right way.
Stop. We've already done this. I mean, 2 weeks ago, there was an article by the Conservatives saying they were thinking about deportation, right? I know it was all fluff and hair, but like it was a sign that they were shifting our way.
Well, of course, because you know what, Matt, they're in a very difficult place. So at some point now that I'm slowly getting my strength back, I've got to get all this code finished for this week, and then there'll be probably a bit of noise next week. At some point, all the little projects on the side, I've started the audit of the For Britain manifesto, and I'm going to slot in the Conservative Party beside them and just peer without a manifesto, just a generalist nationalist position. They've got nowhere to go. The only thing that differentiates them from the Conservative Party is they openly hate the Muslims. If you remove the Muslim hatred, there's fucking nothing in there. They're the Conservative Party, right? That's all they are. Yeah, they're like, hey, we're for like black and white unite, homosexuals, heterosexuals, we love you all. Everyone can be British. Shamima Begum's British. Everyone else is British. All they have is Muslim hatred. They've got absolutely nothing else. That's from just policy. Forget the people, just the policy position. So they're obviously worried about PA because PA's policies are sufficiently, or positions of the nationalists are sufficiently differentiated to be the only alternative if you're on the right wing of the Conservative Party. Where else would you go, right? I mean, you've got the BNP potentially if they can pull themselves up, but there's nothing here, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. I don't see anything, but let's hear Miss Butler make the case.
That actually gives you more credence and more support because it justifies your message rather than justifying them. Rather than stealing votes, they actually help you. That's happened in the past as well. And but they would also, I believe, almost certainly, this is sort of reading into the future, they'd almost certainly try and co-opt. This happens in European countries where Macron in France has tried to say a few hard line sounding messages, sound bites to try.
I'm sorry, man. You gotta love the optics. The guy who's been sedated with some farm sedatives or whatever he takes. He's got the he's got the platonic single kind of. Let me put my finger right in line with my nose body language. The butler for Brighton is just sitting there looking. He's got his platonic on the chin. And you look at the super gay, featherly, lightweight intellectual champions, both nodding at each other. I'm not sure who's had more horse tranquilizer. I think the guy on the left, because he looked fucking sedated, mate.
You take support away from Marine Le Pen's party. This always happens. And
fucking hail Marine Le Pen.
Yeah, and it shifts the agenda actually away from being giving everything away and letting you affect the agenda of the nation without being in power. That's what effectively happens. Because they fear everyone voting for you and not voting for them, and they fear being put out of work and out of a job, don't they? And all their future being ruined. So they feel they have to talk your talk a bit, or they'll restrict this or do tinker around with things, and you affect things without even being in power.
I'm sorry, mate. No disrespect. I'm sure he's a really nice guy in public, but he's got this completely sort of bovine kind of like, I've been really heavily hit with that sedative look. Is it just me, or is he on prescription meds? What is with this guy?
I think he is actually. Yeah.
I beg your pardon. If there's actually a real reason, I do apologize for that. Absolutely, sir. I'm so sorry, but like maybe a cup of coffee or something maybe for his dream. You know, have you ever watched The Genius, that brilliant satire for 2012 by the BBC?
Yes.
That made the satire, and when Yvonne from the media company Perfect Curve says to the really boring athlete, he says, the problem with inspiring an audience is the first thing is they've got to be conscious. I'm like, looking at you.
I mean, if you'd watched the 40 minutes before this, then you would have thought that as well. No wonder he's like that. They've just been talking about, bins or something.
No, it's quite like, but the chap is, to be inspired, you must be conscious, mate. Just a little hint.
I think we have to take power to ultimately save this country, for want of a better word.
Okay. How is For Britain going to do that then?
Exactly.
How do you personally feel, now the smoke's settled and everything else, how do you personally feel about people taking the knee?
I think it's just pathetic.
Wait, whoa. He went there. Why did you go?
What was the pause? I was supposed to just say
Why are you even considering it? Like, no.
How about no, and over my dead fucking body? How about
Right.
that as a response? How about like no, never? You'd have to shoot my knees off.
This
Yeah, how
feels
about
like it's going towards this, Day of Unite on the 1st of August. This Inman
that? Black and white
thing.
unite.
Yeah, that's it. It
Yeah.
feels like, oh, how do you feel about taking the knee now? Oh, we're not racist. We don't.
We're not racist. I have a challenge to Miss Inman. Why doesn't he go down to Brixton, because they're having a counter full-on food jogger mass reparations take over Brixton? I want him to take his DFLA boys and go down there and go, oh yes, we'd like to unite. All right. I think you should go down to Brixton, Mr. Inman. Let's see how well you do on the first, yeah? But anyway, you're right, mate. Well spotted, Matt. He hesitated, didn't he?
Yes.
There's no instinctive. It didn't just say "fuck you," right? It was just in. It was like, what does that? Does that compute? He's probably checking Tel Aviv just in case
Yeah.
they're not. Just checking. Or Tel Aviv, what's that position on the knee?
And more than pathetic, it was an act of submission.
Did we finally lose our police that day?
I don't think that was the strange thing is, during this coronavirus thing, the agenda of the enemy agenda, for want of a better word, better descriptive thing for it, rushed on several pages.
Did you say enemy? That caught my attention too. Did it get yours? I was like, hang on, are you going to identify said enemy, or is it just?
We're going to name them.
Are you going to name them?
Someone. Who are we going to name? Which enemy is it?
Has he noticed who the enemy is? Has he started noticing? Not yet. Let's have a look.
Has he been on Twitter in the last 2 days?
I did.
Our freedoms, making people ashamed of our history and our culture and our heritage, or trying to make our people ashamed of it. And that was part and parcel of it, wasn't it? It goes along with all the making us use plastic instead of real cash and stuff like that, which is coming in. These are all really part of the same agenda. And
oh, Mr. Butler, are you really that stupid? Do you really think there's some secret agenda to make us use cash versus plastic, as opposed to the entire digitizing objectives of all the banks that we've known for 20 years? Are you just going, maybe it's a guy with a tin hat who's trying to make me give him my credit card number? Oh, you're such a fucking boomer, mate.
The taking a knee thing, the act of submission, it was good in a way, because it annoyed nearly any normal person. It totally annoyed them. It really got their back. It's one of these radicalizing processes. The whole Black Lives Matter thing has drastically radicalized most of the population in a positive way. That's what they don't. They're so
well. Most of the population, except you clowns like you and Richard Inman, who still go on Tommy or Black and White Unite. It's got Sarah Garvey united with his black people. He's got ordinary English people going, hang on a minute, kneel to
he
who?
Literally took Sarah Garvey's dick. Yes, he did.
Yeah, it literally. So, but here we've got the only person walking a thin kind of line, almost like a kind of, you'd almost imagine a left and right sandwich. Where have we seen that come from before? The only one watching that thin line is all the people connected in the same cluster connected to Tel Aviv HQ. You're the only ones who won't take a stand, right? I mean, you're not going to take the knee, but will he take a stand? He won't take a stand, will he? He's going to tiptoe around this. He's quite cautious, right?
Well,
because
no,
he's tentative that
he's saying the right things with waking people up. But again, he's very tepid on the outright. It's like I'm gonna guess he's gonna like backtrack later, is he? Or I don't know.
Oh wait, I just thought I'd give him a little bit of a fair hearing, because the stuff before is pretty insipid. He goes on to some crazy electoral idea of taking everything down to the parish level and then having some kind of parish representatives select their own MPs or something. He's just fucking insane. But I thought we'd leave all that bit because he's about to get into PA soon.
Right.
Clumsy, these people, and they
I
live in such
like
a
the way you see these things. Yeah.
Well, the Disraeli wrote a book, 3 books actually on this.
Disraeli? Okay.
They discussed it's where One Nation Toryism came from, actually, from Disraeli, which isn't the concept of One Nation Toryism that they said. One Nation Toryism was to unite the people into one thing, because he spoke of there being 2 nations that didn't speak to each other, a liberal type nation and a conservative old style Victorian type conservative type nation, and these two nations didn't speak to each other. That's a bit like what we've got now. You've got the Guardianistas and the people who read the Independent and things like that, and who work in the civil service or the public sector. They have a totally different attitude to life than normal people, and they're a tiny minority amongst.
Oh, you're such a. This guy has an intellectual case of cephalological syphilis. Do you have any fucking idea what the electoral data sets look like, dear Miss Butler? Do you? Do you think that the majority of people don't form the cluster you just mentioned? That cluster you mentioned is almost 30% of the population.
Like,
So what do you mean us normal people are the rest? Even the rest of that 30% are not actually split into a uniform group. So this kind of
it's not black
cephalological
and white, is
syphilis,
it?
it's not black and white, and there's no
Yeah.
unite, right? It's six fucking different data sets, and he doesn't, like I say, it's cephalological syphilis. You should carry on doing what you're doing, Eddie Butler. You just keep running this strategy, mate. Kind of works. Eventually, we'll mop them all up.
The English or British people, they're a very small minority, and
it's just so wrong in the data.
but they don't mix with anyone else. They have their own little dinner parties where they tut about people who put a George Cross flag outside their window in an awful council estate somewhere. They have a despising attitude. They think we shouldn't have all these statues. Take them down. Take them down. No one will worry because they're awful, these statues. They don't imagine that anyone would defend any of these statues because they don't. None of them.
I'm sorry, but I think the meds are wearing off here because he just keeps smiling and nodding his head vigorously. I think the dosage is not linear; it should be on a slow release. But anyway, go on.
None of them will circle would for a minute, so they don't think anyone else would, and they live in a totally cocooned world that they can't imagine they're actually damaging their cause and helping our cause half the time.
This is actually completely incorrect as well. So if you look at the two sectors he's talking about, watch my videos, Miss Butler. No, they live right amongst them. They live the hipsterati and Hackney. They live completely within them. They know exactly who they are. Those guys wash their shoes, pour them their latte and everything else. You're right in saying they don't mix in as a social class because we know that the left look down on the working class. The Gardenista people hate working class Brits. You're right about that bit. Everything else you're wrong. They don't live in some spatial book. They're right with each. I mean, I see them every day. They're around there and they slide through them. So they know exactly what's going on. The thing is, they hate working class people. That's the actual differentiator. They don't like the working class. It's as simple as that, isn't it? Yeah, you know the middle class Cockney. So think of Ash Harker and Owen Jones. They don't have many working class mates today. Of course they don't.
No, of course
not at all.
No.
They wouldn't go down a pub. They wouldn't go down a working class pub. They wouldn't order pork scratchings, play a game of pool. They wouldn't watch the footy or even know who's on the telly. They wouldn't do anything an ordinary working class English person does in a pub. Anything.
They just don't see it through anyone else's eyes but their own blinkered view. So a lot of what they do actually rebounds to our favour. Such as the Black Lives Matter thing is such a based on a total lie from the word go. You know, the we are the country.
I mean, not dissimilar to For Brighton. Because for Brighton is based on a complete lie. Because it's for Brighton or for Israel. It's not for. It's for anything but for Britain, isn't it? It's not for the British people. So it's kind of quite ironic that he says Black Lives Matter is based on a lie. Agree with that. Because for Brighton is based on a lie, isn't it? Come on, let's face it. Later on in the previous bit we missed, he talks all about how we believe in our ethos that really For Brighton stands for devolving power locally. And I have a sort of strange parochial model. Again, part of his cephalological syphilis is a kind of parochial, kind of like distortion in his brain of how to think of local strategies. But as we all know, For Britain has an authoritarian, totalitarian leadership structure in which there's no way to challenge Anne-Marie Waters. Did you know that, Matt Wise?
Nope.
Oh, it's not democratic. Oh, no. It's democracy for thee, but not for me. Oh, no. She can't be challenged.
Is Anne-Marie even conscious at this point? Is she? I haven't seen her in a while.
What time?
What time is it?
What time is it? They've been open for a while, mate. She's already hammered somewhere. But no. But the irony is, early on, I'll do a little more detailed response, like a standalone response. I was picking apart. But he goes on about like real, he waffles on about some misunderstanding of the Republic, then some misunderstanding of U.S. power structures. Then he goes, but really, For Britain are looking at taking it down to the church and distributing power, except you are shining the shoes of a totalitarian, authoritarian person who has said explicitly in video, "I will not be removed from the party." So which is it, matey? Do you have a totalitarian dictator, a Brighton queen, which you follow around? You follow the
Empress
queen around?
Anne. You know,
Empress Anne, right? Empress Annie. It's the story of
the
Annie, isn't it?
Brighton Empire. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, it is. It's like, it's like I want to say Anne Frank, but that's not her name. What was her name again?
I don't think
It's
she's been in any attics lately.
Anne-Marie Frank. So it's Anne-Marie Frank's Bob Brighton, but he decided, what a fallen man. What I don't understand with this Eddie Butler clown, right? So that my BNP mates have given me tons of shit on this guy, going through his blog. I'm looking through this guy, like you claim to run around as a kind of wannabe in the second command. You had some failed attempts to make any progress. But after having been in the BNP for so long, you'd actually do the BNP such disservice by, you might as well just take the knee, man. You might as well just get it over with and fucking take the knee, carry your handbags, one on both sides of your shoulders, and go like a little poodle, just follow around going, for Brighton, off, off, for Brighton, off, off. And even that wouldn't have my attention. My only attention was garnered by the fact that you have a pop at Pierre and Mark and Laura, which is coming up soon, and it's fucking hilarious. He also has a pop at the entire Zoomer generation, which is just fucking bad news. Eddie, mate, look.
Oh, that's it. That's how you win.
It's coming up.
I think, isn't
Eddie,
it? Just
look.
alienate the youth. Yeah,
alienate the generation coming behind you, right? Oi, Butler, oi, Butler, oi, this is Rakesh here, yeah? So, Butler, Earth to Rakesh. If you fucking alienate the Zoomers, two things will happen. You will have no one to follow behind you and do anything, and you're going to get torn apart because they're not very pleasant when you piss them off. They really are a very lovely bunch of people, are fucking quick. They're very, very quick, and they will meme you out of existence. Just a little warning, Butler. Don't piss off the Zoomers.
We're the first country ever really to abolish slavery, and we enforced the abolition of slavery. We enforced the abolition of slavery on the rest of the world.
Yeah.
America, the war in American history that had the most bloodletting, including Vietnam, the First or the Second World War, was the American Civil War, which was about freeing slaves. They actually killed more of their own people.
Stop,
RNG, wrong.
It's about
Go
taxes, taxation, you muppet. It was only during the fucking second year of the war, I think it was.
Yeah.
Lincoln decided, we'll make this about slavery to like get on more support.
And if you look at it, there was tremendous support all the way up to the 1960s across the northern states, including the original 13 colonies, for incredibly military enforced racial segregation. So if you want to make this all about black and white unite, I strongly urge you to read American history, right? It's just wrong.
Man.
Wrong narrative. Most Americans wanted a white nation all the way until a
1965.
Someone in 1965 decided it was a good idea to let the fucking huddled masses in, right? So if you ever claim, the North did it because of Lincoln and slavery, you're a fucking idiot, mate. You should read a book. Yeah.
In a very bloody civil war, literally brother against brother, over freeing slaves. They've got nothing really to do.
No.
And yet it's being used as stick to beat.
I don't understand the cross-generational guilt thing, because then surely, I mean, it's already embarrassing at the moment how Germany still has to snivel and beg at times, but I mean, does that mean that we should all go?
No, it's going against the narrative.
They smashed that. What do you mean Germany? No, the EU is doing so with a cock leader in Merkel. The German people don't want that.
He's going on about the Second World War.
Oh, he's going to Second World War.
Yes, he's talking about why they should feel guilty, right? No, Zero, don't say that. Someone in television is going to get very angry with you if you say that.
You have to be very steady there, mate. Those shekels have got to come from somewhere, right?
Trump's Germany, then, just to be sure. It does beg the question. I mean, the original people talk about Irish nation.
No begging question in Paul Brighton.
No, Paul Brighton already. You can already see the Tel Aviv HQ signals that I'm going. I shut it down.
You want to know a personal story? Begging the question got me kicked out of Paul Brighton. Did you know?
Oh, absolutely. Well, look at this. I was trying to convince someone the other day. I said, look, if you don't believe us, if you think it was one of the plantation panels, and they were like, they had a mixed opinion. They're like, well, what differentiates Mark Collette, a PA in the right and stuff? I said, well, two fundamental principles. One would definitely be ethno-nationalism, Britain for the British, and the other one would be a foreign policy issue where Britain doesn't go out to fight other people's wars, and other countries and populations don't come here to tell Brits what to do. That would be very too hard differentiations, right? And they were like, "Oh, is that the same for Tommy and Richard Inman?" I threw them a little challenge. I said, "Why don't you guys go? You'll be plantation jog ID, so they have no idea who the hell you are. Once they Google Translate your comments, have a chat about Israel and see how long you lost. Try it
Yes.
at any other channel. Just try it. You just be shut down." So if you don't
Uh-huh.
believe me, litmus test. Go to Richard Inman or Harticle for Brighton, and just say something slightly innocuous, like why should For Britain, it's a party called For Brighton, support for Israel? End of view. You'll just never be seen from again. So if you don't believe me, just try this litmus. Don't try this at actually not screw it. Try this at home, kids. I want you to try this at home, kids.
Yeah,
If you're
try this
watching,
home,
because our content is clearly aimed at under 13s only. So, if you want to try this at home, kids, I suggest you wander over and perform a litmus test. If they were neutral or ambivalent or had no position on Israel, then you should have a rich, entertaining conversation. But it lost you just one comment, I can assure you. Yeah, I tried with 5 or 6 IDs. I tried to be very innocuous, and I got booted immediately. So, for Brighton, mashallah.
Slaves in this country were people coming from Ireland to Britain to get slaves, and so on and so on and so on.
Well, also, one of the interesting things is when one of the pastimes of English people is visiting castles, isn't it? You know, some ruined castle, you sit and have a picnic, and you take your dog for a walk around. Oh, that's a nice ruin, how picturesque, and all this sort of thing. Castles were built here by the Normans to repress.
By the Normans, yeah.
They were. It's almost like some
population control, wasn't it?
I'm sorry. That's probably just the hired help from the call center. Are you fucking with me? You're saying the first castles in the United Kingdom were built by the Normans, only arrived in the 1030s and 40s prior to 1066 and scouting. Are there no castles in Britain prior to 1066? Come on. No, not a single castle. All the Brits were just living in mud huts, were they? Were there no castles? Were there no castles?
The ones in Wales are older than that, aren't they?
English history. No. Okay. For Brighton, not for Britain.
Yeah, that's what it was for. The castles were here to subdue us. They weren't there. It's a nice thing, and it's almost like I said to someone, it's like the Czechs, having a monument or having a nice day out at some sort of Nazi headquarters in Prague, which they used to subject them during the German occupation of Bohemia.
So I don't understand this. What is this clown trying to say with Miss Butler? Are you trying to say you're anti-Norman now? What does he mean? He's almost saying the imposition of a Norman castle, which they're fantastic examples in English history, is a subjugation by the Normans.
This is Sargon of Akkad tier bulldog nationalism, isn't it? Oh, he's a Frenchman. He's a German. Oh,
But what is he? Is he a French? I mean, what is he trying to claim? So is he going pre 1000 and post 500?
What's he trying to make? So we're on about slavery, and now we're on about castles.
And now he thinks somehow so you've got a very, very strange view of English history, Mr. Butler, because where are you drawing this sliding line? Are you a 1065 kind of man? What are you trying to say? You're going to kick out anyone who has Norman blood? Okay, fascinating. I want to see his DNA test results.
Or the Czech Republic, but because we're so non-chip on shoulder as a people that we go, oh, that's a nice castle, let's go and have a day out the car. There's no sort of folk memory that it was actually a symbol of repression. In the same way, we tend to, that book 1066 and all that. You familiar with that? There's a book called 1066 and all that. But when I was young, people were giving it to read, the amusing history of England sort of thing. It sort of starts English history at 1066, and that's the traditional date. Most kids probably, even now, I suppose, but they still know 1066, the date of the Battle of Hastings.
I think they're starting to fill the gaps in before, aren't they? With Alfred the Great and people like that.
Do they teach them that still?
I don't know if they teach them that. I must admit, I don't know.
But anyway, but most people think English history started changing. That's actually the date of our conquest by somebody else, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But no,
we got squashed.
Bulldog
we don't think that's the date.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say here without being fucking rude. Do you understand how motte and baileys and architectures of castles work? Are you drawing the line castle because you think because Windsor is 1067 or 1068 or whatever it is, that these castles and motte and bailey are the only way castles were built? It's almost like you are taking the knee to the Normans on one hand, and the other hand you're saying Norman supremacy. Oh, you taught us how to make castles, or Normans, and you're forgetting
Allegory.
all the fucking history before Motte and Bailey of building. I mean, which is it, mate? Do you have any understanding of English architecture or castles? Or you just saying castle means 1066, no castles? You're a fucking you're an uneducated clown.
He needs
Mr.
to leave
Butler.
he needs to leave his castle to see what the sunlight really is. On
I
the
have
wall
no
in
idea.
his
He doesn't.
dungeon.
Yeah, but it's almost like he doesn't understand the difference between Motte and Bailey castling and how they showed up and why they showed up in 1066. He doesn't understand the imposition, the Motte and Bailey system of, I don't know, mate. I'm not here to educate this man about castles. Get on with it. Get to Mark and PA. That's why we're here.
It's for subjugation. You know, we don't think like that. We're not like that, are we?
That's so true.
Says the man subjugated to Tel Aviv HQ. You don't think like that, do you, Eddie Butler? Don't you really? You fucking took the knee to Tel Aviv. What are you talking about? You fucking sold out your people, mate. Yes, hasn't he? He's like, oh, we want 1066 Hastings, deny Motte and Bailey,
Right.
Motte and Bailey denial. But shekels? Oh, yes, please, master. What would you like me to say? Black and white unite, master. Black and white unite, master. Oh, yes, but we're not racist
Do
in
you know who
Britain.
the Normans brought in?
Oi,
well,
fuck
I
the
mean,
Normans. I mean, what is Tel Aviv HQ? We have Paul in the chat. Good afternoon, all, mate. But I mean, mental. This guy is. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, let's go.
And
So true.
the Moors from what was now Algeria and Morocco used to raid the coasts of England and Wales and Ireland, taking away whole villages as slaves up to about 1650. Some of the first missions of the Royal Navy, or the fledgling Royal Navy in the 17th century, were counterattacks against the Barbary corsairs and pirates who used to take away whole villages.
Yes, but very few. If you look at the trade, the majority of the raids were on the southern coast. So most of it was, Andalusia, the southern coast. Some of them
Ireland as
got
well,
round to
yeah.
France. Yeah, and a few of them got to Ireland, but that's minor. But even this is, you're almost running this weird kind of like pro-slavery is bad, pro-narrative. Let's be factual. The first slaves are white people. Well, white people. Slavery
Yeah.
existed anyway. As soon as you open the
Yeah.
slavery gate, you're entertaining fucking BLM and shit, or you're entering reparations. Slavery was a form of power. That's all it was. End of that, right? That was it. But this kind of, I read a book and they took a few Irish lashes. Yeah, but most of the raiding, if you look at the dots, were all across the southern med. Miss Butler.
Whole villages in slavery to North
And
Africa.
notice we've said all of this and we haven't even started on the Romans.
Yeah.
You know? I just think if there's a game that you... Sorry.
I'm sorry, no disrespect. I'm not sure if it's a medication, but do you ever catch these really adoring looks on Zero News's face? It's not just, he just looks at some of his guests, and I'm not sure if it's the med. He just looks at him almost like he's in love. I'm not sure what it is, man.
We
Look at that
treat
look.
our own people.
Oh, it's like a really nice sort of like bovine kind of like, really kind of like, and like a little, yeah, it's great. It's completely harmless.
I was talking about someone else last night. There's a guy called Thompson, a left-wing historian, who wrote a book. It's called something like The Decline of or History of the English Working Class. I can't remember the exact title off the top of my head, but
that's promising.
The History of the English Working Class.
I'm sorry, did you just say you just read a book just now and you can't remember the title of it? Okay. I mean, wow. Let's put the government, I'll tell you what, let's give you the Department of Education, shall we? I mean,
Department of History, mate. Department of History. What could go wrong?
What did you read this morning? Yeah, it was really interesting. It was really riveting. Yeah. Who wrote it? I don't know. Some guy called Tom.
Don't know, but there's castles everywhere
what's
now.
What's it called? So I can look. Well, yeah, get the fucking Normans. Get the Normans. Get them.
This sounds like Norman conspiracy theories.
Fucking Norman imperialists. What do the Normans ever do? Guys coming here, building fucking. No, what do the Normans ever do? Yeah. And you know these Normans aren't what they're not like just pure Frenchy, are they? We know they're not. We know they're actually Norsemen. They're fucking Norsemen, you idiots. That's why it's called Norman. Yeah, Nordman. Yeah, man from the north. Yeah.
Subjugation.
He does like a that subjugation? Do you think there's
What
any
is this?
association?
Has he got fucking shares in sex dungeons and castles or something?
I don't know.
What
This
is
whole
this shit?
could be
His
the reason.
subjugation's on his mind a lot, isn't it?
Could be the reason he's drawn to for Brighton. It's Brighton. Brighton itself is the age.
The mental image. Yeah.
The mental image. Yeah, I know. Because which other English male
It's a
nationalists
gay pride parade, right?
Yeah, which other English male nationalists at least put his time in the BNP would be a poodle for Britain? I mean, come on, mate. You dress up and you strut behind it, do you? Is there anything else you're not telling us? Yeah, hey, oi, Eddie,
Does he get hot in that PVC? Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's got
slaves. Actually,
it's got a little. She puts a little stick on him like that. See, there you go, good poodle. Look, for Britain, have a baby trident. I made this one myself.
in 9 times, nearly always much worse than slaves. The children were terribly treated, put in mines, and terrible treatment of the English working class by the ruling class, whatever you want to call them, over the decades. But again, we really haven't got a chip on our shoulder about this, or people really, slightly remarkably, that we don't really. Yeah, the guy William Wilberforce, who was one of the leading.
Whoa, hold on. Stop.
Whoa. Good man.
Is he trying to incite a working class uprising here or something? What's he on about? He's like, we haven't got a chip on our shoulder. What do you want us to do? Violently overthrow the government?
No, but you see, they're in a very interesting position, man. If you look at if you ignore his occasional bouts of cephalological syphilis, what does they appeal to? They've gone to the TR movement. They're obviously still, they're still part of the Oive crowd, right? Yes. And they're looking at where can we represent power? Now that the Civ Nazi is being crushed on one side by the right and the establishment on the left, they've got nowhere to go. They've got to walk that careful line. Who do they appeal to if you stratify the data? Well, in your traditional and naive analysis, it's a lower class, middle class, upper, but we know that that's no longer class stratification in Britain. It's 6 layers across another 7 layers, depending how you measure it. If you look at that, he's trying to say on one hand, we're not anti-working class, as long as you agree with us, white and black unite. If you agree with that, then we're not anti-working class, otherwise you're racist. And the other hand, they've got to say, well, if you're not working class, there must be some middle class vote, but they're not trying to appeal to them, because if you look at all the people who support them, they're all quirky. They've got no young support. They've got no Zoomers. They've got no one from the internet.
Where are
They've no YouTube channel. Where are the YouTube channels? They've got Busker Patriot, Richard who I'd like a drink, Anne Marie who I've already had one, and they got this guy, and they've got no YouTube channels. They have no one there capable of. What have they got? Vindicator, the black guy. What's his name? You got Vindicator, Terminator, Schwarzenegger. All these kind of clowns. Whereas Mark and Pierre comfortably sitting there spinning the whole alt-right under their command. What have they got? They've got no one. And because they can't go down to the working class without appealing to the working class, but they're so scared to be racist. So you can't really. I've been in many of these marches. 9 out of 10 or 8 of those boys are racist, good, old-fashioned English boys. They just haven't got a home to go to politically, right? They support the TR movement, but they're not fucking multi-culties. The only one making the multi-culti, multi-racial noise is those paid by Tel Aviv HQ, telling them that you must unite on black and white. But if you go to a Tommy march, all lads going, I'm not sure about that. I got one black mate, but I'd rather keep my country English. So they've got this kind of really strange place, this tightrope they have to walk on. And, because he's got the bovine on the left, it's quite easy. No one's really stressing him. But watch you, mad. Wait until he tells us a story about the person who's going to debate Laura Towler and stuff. It gets fucking interesting in a minute.
Oh, does he mention him? Nice.
You know what? God bless Laura. God bless Laura Towler.
I was about to bring him up like that. Poor lad.
Yeah, but God bless Laura Towler. Very few people seem to want to mention her name. They call her a bird. They call her this. They call her someone from Yorkshire. They call her far-right fascist. They call her anything. We're just calling her by her fucking name. So even he struggles.
Say her name.
Yeah, say her name, and you watch him fake it, pretending he doesn't know who Laura Towler is. Right? It's fucking.
We're
gonna
really have to get that memeing. Just say her name. Next time that's on Twitter,
Google Laura Towler, man.
In the anti-slavery movement, one of the leading lights of the anti-slavery movement, his family ran factories where they killed kids virtually. They had to pick up something under a big hammer that would come down.
They ran factories,
take it out before the hammer came down. They tripped over, they get squashed,
Yeah.
And sort of thing, that's the sort of thing that William Wilberforce made his fortune from. He actually made his fortune from the absolutely disgraceful mistreatment of his own people.
Yeah.
But he's actually remembered as a hero. for the slave trade. But
are they trying to do a? Oh look, guys, your heroes are hypocrites too, because
I don't know. Do you know, mate? It takes me a while to go through his befuddled logic, because even when you go through the logic, it's almost like it doesn't make any nonsense too much. But then you try to claim, and you can't extract the propositional claims. It's almost like he's just saying words without any making points. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
He's
I
just
mean, what's
saying
the whole
things, but I'm
point of
like,
this, like,
yeah, mate,
tangents?
yeah. Can you just
Gone on
3
like
words,
4
mate?
tangents.
Yeah, can you just go, you went to William Wilberforce, you thought there's a guy called a book you read by Tom, and then you've got this thing about Normans and castles. Yeah, okay, but what are you actually fucking trying to say here? Or did you come in a let's say nothing? Because obviously Bovine just looks adoringly, and every time he speaks, Flossie goes and doesn't really ask him any questions, right? Until Flossie does wake up as soon as the Mark Collette Pierre question comes, and then this guy just fucking, it's like someone just injected him with like 2 fucking liters of adrenaline. He just wakes up, which in his case is just really moving his head slightly backwards. But anyway,
that's the story of our people being terribly badly mistreated. We sent out tens of thousands of slaves, people who got criminal convictions and things for very minor offences at the time, to places like the West Indies and Georgia in America.
Oh, stop.
Criminal convictions as slaves. Well, yes, that's called hard labour.
Yeah.
That was legal. They're not slaves, they're criminals.
Yeah,
they're serving their sentence.
Yeah. And this whole getting the slavery thing, there's only one position for British nationalists on slavery. It should be irrelevant. That's the only position I take. Why are you asking about slavery? It's something that happened in the past. Go away. How about modern English people today? What do they need? Yeah, and that's why do I care? I mean, do you get really, really like excited and romantic and outraged about, I don't know, the Spanish Civil War? No, good. You shouldn't. Same thing with slavery. Not a problem. Doesn't happen here. Go away. Or just sing England never ever will be. Sing something like that, mate. That's all you need to do.
And they died like flies because they couldn't live. That was before we started taking slaves from Africa. We actually sent all our people from this country there as slaves, but they died. They all died off.
Yeah.
And that was like a mass murder. That's mass murder, you know?
Yeah. It's mass murder,
there's horrendous things have happened around the world, and the black slavery issue is just one of many things, not even by far and away from being the worst. And our record, we were involved in slavery from about 150 years. We were involved in the slave trade for about 150 years, which is quite a small period of time, really. And
that's actually not.
And then we abolished it.
Yeah.
That's not actually strictly true at all, mate. But but I would say if you involved from day one or to the end, so fucking what? I mean, why do you apologize?
And made everyone else abolish it as well, and spent most of our navy, about a third of our navy by the end of the Victorian period, was locked up in suppressing the slave trade, which was being carried out by Muslim princes actually in Arabia.
Speaking of Muslim princes, what a segue. Do you feel?
Look, it's top trumps. They're playing like fucking top trumps.
It's almost like they're playing an inverted white guild top trumps.
Yeah.
Right? They're not playing top trumps. They're playing an inverted white guild, saying, "Well, we want the worst of the worst. We want the baddest of the bad." As opposed to saying, "Why are you asking me to disavow what my ancestors did? I'm not responsible for the sins of my ancestors. Fuck off and have a nice day." That would be a proper nationalist position. Do you mind just fucking off, right? But no, he's going, oh, but remember though, Tel Aviv HQ must be very strict about this, right? They once he's decoded and changed his instructions from Hebrew back to English, it must say never take a position on black versus white. Always say slavery is bad. Always look apologetic. Don't take a knee. We understand your controlled opposition. Don't take a knee, but pretend you kind of want to take a knee. But then go into this kind of semi-apologetic Englishness. And I find that really just going, why are you apologizing for the empire? Why are you apologizing for slavery? What kind of patriot are you? You should never apologize for any of it. I have no idea why you'd apologize for the glories of your past. I don't get it. I'm like, why? No one else does. Even shitty little countries with shitty little achievements will praise in their school kids, will praise their shitty little achievements to the end of fucking time.
Exactly.
here you
But
are, yeah?
if the imaginary state of Nabucco created a plow, they would
Here on
teach
the
their kids
here on the
about the
Nabucco.
plow for the
Oh
next
yeah,
1,000 years if that's the only achievement they ever
yeah.
fucking made.
I know.
You know,
We were scientists, so we was
even if
builders,
that plow killed 15 million people, right? You know,
including
that's
all
what
the
I mean. Like, yeah, it's like
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, God, I mean, you just mention any of the Western science, and Al.Gebra shows his head immediately. Go that. What about algebra? I mean, you can call me Al.Gebra. Yeah. I mean, anyone, but at least he's apologizing for English glory, and I'm looking at how the mighty fall. How dare you tarnish the name of the BNP? You've tarnished the names of Tyndall, of all of them, to have this kind of position. It's really just not inspiring, is it, Matt West? Can you see the people inspired by this? Yeah.
riveting.
Yeah.
And we're being paranoid with the COVID things that are going on at the
Oh,
moment.
fuck
That
off.
Oh god, here we
I'm
go.
walking down the street and I'm seeing all these
Fuck off,
masks
man.
and
It's
everything else, and
5G,
everyone's
guys.
distancing
God,
themselves
quick,
and
jump.
everything else.
5G.
I'm
Here
feeling
comes the
very
tin hats.
terrified.
Yeah.
What's going on? And
Oh.
more to the point, that's probably a bit of my own paranoia. But more to the
Lay off the weed, mate.
point, one person that's brought up the human rights issue here is Peter Hitchens. What do you think about all this?
I'm very. I don't really understand what's going on with the. I'm sceptical about the whole this virus, which I prefer to call a China virus, like Trump. But I'm very sceptical about what's going on. My feeling is that we should never have locked down, and we should have just isolated the elderly and people in care homes and people who are
No, you're wrong. We
genuinely
should have shut
vulnerable.
the fucking borders.
Yeah, shut the fucking borders first away and then done a purge. That would have been a really good thing to do. And then just looked after your own. That would have been a good strategy. And it's not, mate. It's not a fucking conspiracy theory. I have a big white bandage for my 4th time they've taken forced blood. I had to go to my local GP surgery because I didn't have to call the way to Holly Street. And it was fucking a multi-culti rainbow center in there just to take blood for the 4th time. Do you think this is some global conspiracy, or do you think it could be in the fucking blood because the Chinese invented it? I'm not conspiracy theory. I hate conspiracy theories. I'm an uber geek, but I know Matt Faz and others do. So I'm going to drop one in. I have realized, and I've thought about this last 4 months, I've been dealing with this thing, is it's clearly a virus that was engineered. It's clearly synthetic. Otherwise, we would have found a cure. And the only thing that would make sense is if I had an authoritarian government in the world's most authoritarian state, and they wanted a drug that permanently keeps you a bit like, with muscle atrophy, generally low energy, keeps you subdued, then that would be a very sensible drug to make. Ta-da, that's the end of it. If you have a conspiracy theory, the Chinese are fucking with population control drugs, and this one got out of the lab.
And the fact they found the virus, vaccine in like 6 months. Yeah, something's wrong there. It takes 10 years to get a vaccine, doesn't it? Like normally.
But the military never create military drugs without always making the antidotes for their troops at the same time. That's best practice, right?
Exactly,
so of course they know what. So of course they got that, but they say, "Oh, we've happened to have it." You'd be like, "Yeah, we know because you fucking made it, didn't you?" Of course you'd have it, right? No. But these guys go, "I'm not sure." So let's add cephalological syphilis and epidemiology to the topics Mr. Butler knows nothing about.
We should have isolated them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. The economy is going to be killed. More people have died through other untreated medical conditions because the whole health service looked at the.
Oh my God. I mean, I hate to be like an absolute and really impolite cunt, but the most people die in England out of heart and smoking. Alcohol, smoking kills more people than fucking Ebola, COVID, or anything, right? That's all it is. That's the data. Just go look at the number of deaths and what they're caused by, mate. Just don't talk about this shit.
The virus, and so you had a stroke or heart condition or cancers and all sorts of other things. They died untreated because the whole health service was skewed, and we've lost more through that than we have actually through this virus. And our figures have been. I'm pretty sure our figures have been drastically inflated because the health service is totally left wing, and they wanted us to stick to beat
What?
Johnson.
What are you
It
talking
really
about?
does.
This party? Are you fucking for real, man? Are you now claiming the
The
entire
reason why the
NHS
numbers are inflated is because it's left wing, right?
left
Just for
wing?
the
Yeah,
fact that it's left wing,
that fact is
the
left
numbers
wing. So
must
all,
be inflated. If it
yeah,
was right wing, the numbers
yeah. So
definitely would be
all the
inflated, right?
conservative doctors are all part of a global, including my niece, my uncles, aunts, my cousins, are all fucking overqualified doctors. Yeah, and they're all very conservative people. Oh yeah, they're all going along with this global conspiracy to lie about the data of deaths, which must be signed off by who? The coroner's office. So yeah, the coroner's office is in it as well. One of the most
No,
independent
it's not
bodies.
even
Yeah,
that,
they're
Ralph.
all into
Ralph,
it. Yeah.
it's not even that. He's literally by the fact of saying, "Oh, because he thinks the health service is left wing, therefore the numbers must be fake."
Yeah, they must be fake because that would require mass conspiracy. They're all hiding it, and all doctors are violating their oath of gone home, including my family
Look,
members who would fucking
Look, he
concern.
might be right. They might be, that someone dies of something that's like heart attack, but they put it down as COVID. There have been cases of that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but a global conspiracy gets everyone. Two
Mm.
people can keep it secret. Three people, and how about everyone in the NHS and all their families and everyone? Yeah, right, of course.
It's just
Idiot.
like throwing out buzzwords here. Fucking.
It's just dumb as shit. Get onto the PA stuff. The more topics you talk about, the worse it is to me.
Seems like there's proof to this as well, doesn't it?
I'm pretty. When we look at the figures at the end of the year, when we can only make a proper judgment, I suspect the number of deaths won't be drastically more than any other year anyway, and I suspect that the ones that you can really say are through this virus are quite small, a comparatively small number, because they count everybody who died of anything of being the virus if they had it in their system at any time. But other countries, Germany doesn't measure it that way. Sorry?
So, but what's happened then? Is it that they've made a mistake and because they would never admit that, then we're going through this whole charade, or is it that they don't know?
Well, I think it could. Look, I don't pretend to know everything.
No, of course not. Just your opinion.
Many things won't become really properly apparent for several years down the line, and something strange is happening.
Something strange is happening, and I don't know what it is.
Feel it in my waters.
This is
feeling in the
water. It's got nothing to do with epidemiology, the R ratio numbers, nothing of this stuff. I got a feeling tonight's going to be a good night. Stop talking about where. I would almost skip. Where's the market beer?
Believe the virus.
This is just. I'm losing IQ points listening to this, mate.
That dangerous. They're using it.
I can never see you running the Department of Health.
I don't really believe it was
never
brought in as a total hoax from the word go. I believe it's a genuine thing. They probably overreacted because the Tories are very scared people anyway. They're the friends of their own shadow, and they were probably worried. Their initial instinct was probably right. The herd immunity thing, I think, was probably the right approach in the initial stage, and to keep everyone working, go for herd immunity as quick as possible, but look after the vulnerable. They didn't even look after the vulnerable. And
you can see the IQ of the four Britain people come out. The economy is going to be trashed. Nice technical analysis there for Britain.
They didn't.
No, that was the worst.
Homes, for example.
Yeah.
And all PPE and all these things could have been used and directed in the right place, which is to guard the vulnerable. And those Nightingale hospitals opened were all unused. You know, it was a joke. But they could have used those Nightingale hospitals, isolation hospitals, for anyone with. That's what I think. That seems to me that would have been the sensible thing. But you know, if you look around the world, some countries which clearly haven't got. Look, I'm not the biggest. It might be unfashionable to say, but I'm not the biggest fan of the National Health Service. I think it's failed in many ways, but
it's only failed for a single reason. It became the International Health Service. It was a wonderful health service. It was designed for the Brits, by the Brits, and for the Brits. As soon as you open up for a bit of a health tourism, it's ruined. So if we make the International Health Service the health service again in a kind of national, sort of socialist fashion, if you allow me to phrase it that way, so then it would be a wonderful thing, wouldn't it? Hey, this is the health service for the British people. It's not the International Health Service. And I don't care how many fucking Nigerian nurses come into work on it. They can come or other people will take their place if you haven't trained the Brits to do it. It's absurd. I want to skip by to the Mark and Pierre bit, mate. Do you mind?
When is it? Is it?
It's very soon. Very, very soon. It's just like I just feel like I'm losing IQ points listening to talk about subjects from castles and the Normans and shit he doesn't understand. It's coming in somewhere here. Sorry, guys. Oops, let me just clickety wicketies. The question comes up, and then we go. Here comes Mark Collette. Okay, let's give him a little bit of chance.
Yeah.
Where he talks about he doesn't understand. So let's get this right. He doesn't understand castles, slavery, the American Civil War, epidemiology. He doesn't understand psephology. So let's see if he understands. I don't think he gets democracy either. But let's see if he gets PA and some mysterious woman he cannot name.
As much central power as possible, devolved down to as local level as possible.
Oh, this is the bit I mentioned where he just wants, listen to this hypocrisy. I'm going to clip these bits out for later. Listen to the hypocrisy where he claims he wants absolute devolution underneath the local area, underneath the constituency level, into the wards and down to the parochial level of districts. But he has an authoritarian leader who cannot be elected or deselected, right? Fucking listen.
Because that's where it can operate at its most purest way, really.
And
I sometimes
sorry,
the American system, I'll just come back on that. The American system, as it was devised, was sort of based on that, where people vote for their local guy in their very local community, in their county or whatever, and other elected people are delegated up. So the delegate from, that's how their conventions work. What I'm saying now, they'd vote for the president through delegates, don't they? They have a school of delegates. You're actually voting for the delegate who then votes for the president. That's how it theoretically works. Right. And then you can recall. So the county says, or the parish would say, we're going to elect 10 parish councillors, and we trust those 10 parish councillors to do our bidding as our community, as our parish, because we know them. That's all we voted for these people. If we don't like them, we'll tell them to come.
Just listen to this bit. I'll comment when he finishes. What? This is insane. Just let him go for 3 or 4 more sentences.
Come back, he's done the wrong thing. And then they would go to Parliament and meet other parish councillors from neighbouring parish councillors and select one of them to be the MP, perhaps. And then you have someone who's really represented from that very pure form of democracy. That's sort of how the American system was kind of devised in the first place. But it's become corrupted over the years. And
you absolute fucking idiot. I'm sorry, but that is not the difference between direct democracy and representative democracy. All he said is, I don't like this representative democracy, so I'm going to take it down to the parochial level. I'm going to get 10 of my guys I like because they know everyone in the parish.
Just have another form of representative democracy.
Yeah, and then it's double. It's like double jeopardy. And then they're going to go to Parliament and they're going to go one more level of representation because they're going to get together and there's no accountability structure. Are you really that bright or not? I mean, are you crazy? And then you don't understand the electoral college system either in the US.
No.
You didn't seem to think that this was the American intention. No, it wasn't. The American intention was a country for free white men. Say it, Eddie. Can you say free white men? That's what it was. Everything was diluted from 1791, 1776 for free white men. They just kept making first women, then everybody fucking any other guy. Your average Somali guy, anyone else is not American, right? You don't understand the first thing about representative democracy. You're just a clown.
Hey, that's like our country. Oh, wait.
And look at this ID. Look at the ID that shows up here. Do you recognize
look, it's
this?
Athena. Hey.
Look at this ID. Oy vey.
Except she's in Northern Ireland.
Oy vey jumps in and immediately goes, Tel Aviv HQ, Tel Aviv HQ. Please talk about Mark, Tel Aviv HQ. So here we go.
Sort of favor that sort of thing.
I look at Nelly's going to get very excited. Clearly, the horse tranquilizer is working out, and he gets a bit he gets spiked up a bit here.
I'm talking theoretically. I would like to see as much political.
Mate, if you're talking about political theory, I strongly urge you not to do so. Replacing representation with another level of indirect representation is fucking. I don't know what to say. Have another 4 Britain sticker. And go
after the parish thing doesn't work out right, go down to the bin men All right. We'll elect
Yeah.
a binman to elect the
Yeah.
parish to
Yeah, but
elect
broke.
the MP.
But all the amazing things that broker power had in England was when the church was united with the monarchy. So if you want a parochial model of politics, you're going to have to restore the monarchy and the church. So if not, you're just fucking. But you can see Nelly here is going to get very excited. He's got the coat ready. Oive, Athena, London girl. London where? London.
Londonderry.
Londonderry or London in some other part of the world, but not like London, Ohio. Is it London, Ohio, or Paris, Texas? It ain't England. She's not English.
Power devolved down. That's kind of, I don't know if it's in the manifesto, but that's kind of our thinking in
Second command of your party doesn't know your manifesto by heart. Good.
Britain, that power should be locally centred.
And why the fuck do you have a totalitarian, authoritarian dictatorship who has said on film, no one will challenge me for the party. No one will challenge me for the Reichstag. She has said explicitly she will not be deselected. Right? She will not be deselected by her own party. So on one hand, you're preaching.
It's a pet project, isn't it?
It's her get back at the boys who kicked her out because she's a girl. They kicked her out of UKIP. They kicked her out of Labour. They kicked her out
Boys
of
were being
UKIP.
mean to me, so I'm
The
gonna
boys
go
have been
and
mean
try.
to me. I'm going to go make my own girls' club, and I'm going to get a little poodle to follow me around, and he's going to carry me shopping in exchange for little stickers. I'm going to get some guy, a farm animal, to interview me. Or Oive, the handlers. Notice? Have you noticed? Have you started noticing, Matt Paz? The handlers have arrived. Yeah.
Yes.
We should be more. We believe in local referendums and stuff like
But
that.
the handlers are going, differentiate. You're not saying differentiate from the Nazis.
We give more power to the people locally to make local decisions, which they are aware of. They've got more stake in, and they're more knowledgeable.
And I think from what I can tell, guys, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think over the last at least year or so, I think I'd say a good portion of our audience thinks that same way of a smaller kind of government. I've got to entertain this question.
Look at the joy and the smile was on the face of the tiger. Look at that. He manages to overcome. Look at the elation. See that sheer joy, that ecstasy? That's when the endorphins have overrid his kind of horse tranquilizer. Because handler number 17 from Tel Aviv says, will Eddie please debate Mark?
But I will say, don't go overboard because people can report my channel get taken down. But Athena London Girl says, will Eddie please debate Mark Collett and put him in his toy box?
Well, when I said this to you the other day when I was chatting to you,
on a minor matter of the difference between foreign languages like Hebrew and English, if you are going to refer to Mark Collett, can you spell his fucking name correctly? Thank you. I'm not sure what it is in Yiddish or Hebrew, but in English it's not spelled like that. Oive.
I actually know Mark Collett very well. I don't. He used to be, until quite recently, I would say a couple of years ago, a very close friend of mine, actually. And he went out of his way to challenge Anne-Marie, really, I think, because he was pictured with this. He had some stupid girlfriend who had a big swastika tattoo.
I saw, yeah.
You know why? You know, I won't try and psychoanalyze what happened there, but he, for whatever reason, he got enamored with this girl who had a huge swastika tattoo and posed in pictures with her. That's him finished, isn't it? And
no.
What?
That happened 20 years ago, and you should know that.
No. He's on about the girlfriend picture with the
correct. But no. But Young Nazi and Proud is 20 years old. So even before any picture, you have Young Nazi and Proud 20 years old, and guess what? Mark is still going 20 years later, working for White Betterment, building up PA and scaling, whereas you're carrying her bags, aren't you, mate? Come on. You're running around carrying her bags. What have you done? All you got is Young Nazi and Proud.
Right, Mark Collett got seen with this lassie, right, with the swastika tattoo. Therefore, he then went to attack for Britain because of that. Did you hear that?
Yeah, did you see that? I was waiting for that.
What?
You and I were there from the first videos. That's not what happened, was it? Eddie's telling stories. That's not what happened.
Who attacked who first?
Who attacked? She came out probably in a fucking drunken rage and had a pop at the Nationalists, had a pop at Mark and PA. And I mean, like I say, maybe I'm just a clown, but I can't think of anyone who goes against the alt-right and doesn't expect a fucking autistic IQ response. So what happens? Everyone comes out and makes videos about them, and then they get all really nervous because suddenly you've got about 10 or 15 voices coming right at them. And what do? They block up, they mute everyone else up, and then they run for the fucking hills. So if you're going to run for the hills as soon as we show up, how could we ever trust you to defend Britain? Right?
He's really just dragging.
And this throwing your friends onto the bus stuff, this is really weak form, Eddie, right?
All these silly kids. I say silly kids, a lot of them are probably well-meaning, actually. And
sorry, this is when he just rips into, he thinks everyone in the PA, and he simultaneously rips into the Zoomers. Where are the Zoomers?
Full of angst and anger about what's going on in the country.
Yeah, I think some are.
And leading them up the garden path and down a very self-destructive road that he went down himself. It's almost psychotic what he's doing to those people. Because they don't know any better. He's about 40, I think.
Please explain as well what you mean by that is that you're aware that he's got absolutely zero chance of achieving anything, and he knows it.
What? I'm sorry. What did fucking flossing?
Projection, Your Honour. Projection,
Your Honour. But what do you mean hasn't a chance of achieving? How about has already achieved? How about, for example, just in his social media presence, he's got more than all of your party combined. Just one man, let alone all the people who support Mark. How about just that for an achievement? No, not that. Okay. How about rallying the biggest grassroots swelling nationalist movement? That okay? No, that's not an achievement. Okay, all right. So nothing, is it? Yeah, all right.
Yes. Look, nowhere in the world has any sort of party of that platform ever got anywhere. You can't.
Wrong. AFD 97 seats, Swedish Democrats 57 seats, Vox Party dissented with almost 30 seats, Salvini League any kind of populist nationalist party, Marine Le Pen, Le Pen, neck and neck in the polls. And if you differentiate our nationalists, they're sanitizing their nationalist message to make it palatable. You're not nationalists, though, are you? Right? They're not nationalists, are they? They can't be nationalists, right? They're black and white unites. They're not nationalists, right? So what do you mean, what have they achieved? What do you mean, what platform? What are you talking about? This guy is just, he's so disingenuous, isn't he? I mean, he's just not very real.
Apart from before the war in Germany, I should say.
Yeah. One occasion it does really well.
Post-war, no party that. So if you genuine the girl that he's got with, I don't want to sound sexist. The
girl. Oh, here we go.
He just fucking did. He just did it again. He did a Richard Inman. He said some bird. They said some. Tommy said some bird, and he said some girl. She's not some fucking girl. She has a name, and she has more reach and influence than you, Mrs. Butler, doesn't she? More people like her and follow her than all of 4 Britain's views combined. So why can't you say her fucking name? I mean, no one's a Yorkshire Tea won't say her name. James, fatty boy, comedian won't say his name. No one seems to want to say her name.
Won't say her name.
Yes, Morgan won't say her name. No one seems to. Everyone seems to be scared of #say her name. Say her fucking name because you emailed me and I have your emails, Mr. Butler, and you emailed me and you mentioned her name in your emails. So I know very well you know what her name is because you said so in your emails to me. You are a disingenuous, deceitful little fuck.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember her name. Laura someone or another.
Laura someone. Yeah. The Battle of Hastings or the Battle of the Hustings? What was it? Something. Yeah. What was the book I just read? It was a great book. Can't remember. Do you think you could be possibly senile? Do you think you have mild onset dementia? You seem to be forgetful, my friend. You're very forgetful, aren't you? You forgot what book you read, which way you came. Are you wearing any trousers underneath it? Did you forget to put your trousers on, Mr. Butler? Are you that forgetful? Her name is Laura Towler. Fucking say it.
She talked about demographics and how she's there.
Oh, Laura Towler.
Yeah, and I don't know, 30 years to save the country, something like that, right? Those figures are probably about right. That there'll be a demographic change within 30-ish, 40 years perhaps. But if you genuinely want to save your country from that prospect, you're not going to adopt an unwinnable strategy to do it, are you? You're not going to present yourself in such sort of ludicrous Nazi.
He stopped himself.
It's actually a pastiche of Nazism in a way. It's almost a caricature. It's a gross caricature, even.
Yeah, I know that.
And
What the hell?
you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that if you wanted to genuinely save your country. You wouldn't put all these obstacles in the way of a normal person supporting you, which they do.
What obstacle?
There's some sort of
God, that's a
What's
pain.
he on
And
about?
I have no idea, mate. But is it just me, or does he just really sound very incoherent? If he thinks this is the mind that would debate Mark or Laura, who don't want to debate him, and I'm not allowed to debate him either, is he going to show up with this level of coherence? He's going to get shredded, isn't he? I mean, he just can't. Is it just me, or does he not make any salient points? He barely makes any points. When he does, they're not very right, and then he just kind of like fumbles his way through things, right? Is that just me, Matt? Am I? Because they took like fucking a lot of blood from me today, so I might be losing my. Is it just me, or did it come across as a bumbling, fumbling thinker? Is that just me? It's all crystal clear, and it's just me, Matt. Am I missing something?
He doesn't. He gets to his point like 20 minutes after he makes like his first point. It's he's all over the place.
Mental.
strange psychological thing going on. Most of the people in it, probably even that Laura.
Go on. I was
Towler.
going to say cool.
Probably even her.
Look at the way how insulting is he. He knows her name very well.
Yeah.
Look at that. This is for Brighton for you. They're disingenuous liars. Their second in command is a disingenuous liar who
Wait,
either
is
is senile.
this guy second in command?
He's second in command, right? He's the chairman of the party.
Oof.
He's second in command. And if he's the one responsible for this, he's either senile, in which case I will forgive him because Christ teaches us to forgive, and in which case you should be put out to stud or put to rest, whatever it takes. You shouldn't be in politics. Or you're just being blatantly disingenuous in the face of evidence that we know you know her name. Why won't you say her name? Why is everyone scared of Laura? Yeah, I don't get this bit, mate. Do you understand why they're scared of Laura? I can see why Mark might intimidate some of them. I don't get that bit, maybe. But Laura's like, she's super nice, isn't she? She's never like, she doesn't come in with a bar fight. I don't get it. But he's pretending.
That's why they're so afraid of her, because, like, of that very reason. Like, she's so nice. Like, he's talking about pitfalls, but then he's talking about Laura, and, like, there is none with Laura. Or even Mark. I mean, Mark's are not insurmountable.
Mark is, I mean, you're going to have to take Mark out on his points. Unless you can take him on his points, I don't care if you say, see, no one gives a shit. Address his points, right?
I don't care what book he fucking reads. Who gives a fucking shit? Like, God. You're going, people are getting fucking replaced in their own country.
The people are getting replaced, and you care about Mark. And Mark,
my God,
exactly. And Mark, I've read Das Kapital and I've read Mein Kampf. And what does that make me? A Nazi or a communist? No, it doesn't. It means I've read books. Do I recommend? Yeah, I recommend everyone read Das Kapital. I recommend everyone reads Mein Kampf. Does that make me a Nazi and a communist? No, it does not. I recommend you read the Bible.
Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, so we can start using their fucking tactics against them.
I strongly urge all of you to read two polarizing books. One is Culture of Critique, and the other is the Talmud. And I don't think that's going to make you Jewish. So reading a book doesn't make me what you read, right? Do you get that bit, Mrs. Butler?
I don't know how old she is. She's quite young, I'm guessing. But
none of your fucking business.
In fact, I'll go one further, right? On book recommendations. How about we save the Talmud for future generations so they can learn about what it says in there? How about that?
Yeah. How about we save the Talmud so everyone can enjoy the enrichment that it gives you, right? Yeah.
Experience. She's never done anything politically ever. Nothing. She talks on YouTube. She's got no political knowledge of any description whatsoever. None.
Yet, if Laura Towler went on the streams, thousands of people would come listen to her. And Mark, compared to more than Tommy or you or all of 4% combined. So when you say they do nothing, that's because you don't know how social media works. Laura's a little champ, and she's not even trying very hard to be a social media champ, right?
She doesn't really want to be, and that's
she doesn't even need to be. She's just fucking real. She's being real, and obviously Jimmy Fatboy comedian James doesn't want to talk about her. Yorkshire Tea doesn't want to talk about the press, and no one seems to be able to say her name. That should be telling you something. You know what that streams, that stinks off, Mr. Butler? Local, normal, ordinary, working class hero. That's what it stinks off. Exactly what you're not. Yeah.
None of them have, apart from Mark Collette. and he was only a backroom boy back in the day. He was a backroom boy
Right.
who
Right.
designed leaflets. That was all he was.
Not quite true, is it, Mr. Butler? And remember, I do have your entire BNP dossier at my hands.
And but he knows what you can and can't do and what you can and can't achieve. None of the others do. So he's sort of almost deliberately leading up the garden path. It's a rather
He understands optics.
yeah. He's really good at that. Staying with a girl with the swastika tattoo, it's a real good optics. That is, isn't it? But you know, it's. But when Anne-Marie, after he and his acolytes had been slagging Anne-Marie off basically for months,
Yeah,
and
boy.
infesting
Here it comes, Matt.
It's us.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's us. And watch the he knows very well. He knows the truth because we know the truth, and we have all the
Famous.
timestamps. We have all the timestamps, mate. We know exactly what they. We have it on the internet. It's history, and he just blatantly lies as the chairman of this party. He lies to the people and the public, and it's not even a good lie because it can easily be refuted by just pointing out to links and timestamps. But he just lies, right? It's just absurd.
Channels with their stupid, childish remarks, which they think is politics. They think going on YouTube with these stupid, childish comments is politics.
Someone can't take the heat. My God.
Someone can't take the heat, doesn't know how to live in the internet generation, right? And while over here goes like, yeah, I know, tot. In the meantime, the alt-right has more fucking views than all of you combined, including more views than the entire Conservative Party and the Labour Party
You know what?
put
You know what's
together.
going to be hilarious? There's probably more people watching this stream right now than watch their stream.
Probably our smaller streams. Yeah, absolutely. Any one of the big streams, not me, but any one of the big streams have many more views than any of them. God forbid the top names, right? I think Morgoth had. I briefly saw the Morgoth stream. I was heading out that, and I saw that had 700. Marcus way over 1,000. PTS more than 1,000. What does Amri get? A couple of hundred tops. Richard Inman has 30, 40 people. Hearts of Oaks. Only when they got on Sargon, they had a high number, and half of that was us. We just came to have a laugh at Sargon. So I'm not sure who they're talking about. No one watches you guys, right? You don't know how to use the digital economy to your interest. You just don't, because that's what you put forward. And you guys.
When she hit back and sort of answered them back, then they act all offended. What have we done wrong? What have we done to deserve this type thing? And then
what have you done wrong? I don't know.
What could that possibly be? What have you done wrong right now, Mr. Butler? What have you done wrong? Are you just gone over and being a little puerile name calling? Oh, but you're Nazis and stuff. We don't talk to you guys. As soon as we try to talk to you, shut down all your social media. Remember, get it right. The alt-right has more media than you. The alt-right are bigger than you. We don't need to talk to you. You should be talking to us. You're just a fly or piece of lint in the way of what nationalists need. You're just like a little piece of lint. I'm going to have to move you aside, brush you off without any emotions as we go for the fucking right wing of the Tory party. You've got nothing, haven't they? I mean, you just got fuck all, right?
Sort of weighed in a little bit and said said some things about some home truths about them. And then they're all, you should debate us. You should debate us. I don't, as I said, Mark did used to be, until a few years ago, quite a close friend of mine. I know him very well, very, 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 very well.
Right.
And I didn't want to get involved in this sort of thing, really. But eventually I said, okay, I will debate them then. I was saying, go on, you debate them. All right, then I will. And I sent an email to that guy called Rikash, or whatever his name is.
Rikash? Hi, Rikash.
But he knows very well that's not my name. He knows my name is Ralph. He tries a little Nicola Grifton. Oh, you're Indian chaiwala and stuff, because you got nothing, Eddie. I've got your emails to me, mate. I've got your emails from for Britain and before. You're just trying to hide because you know very well my name's Ralph.
How many names have you got at this point? You've got what? Ralpesh? Rakesh,
Ralpesh. I've got about 20
Rikash.
names. I've got 20 names from Speaker's Corner. Then I've got Muslim names. I've got black guys who give me names. I mean, they all give me names. It's just like anything but my name. But what can I say? I didn't pick my name, mate. I was christened with that name. So.
Yeah. Okay, then you've been challenging me to debate. Okay, well, and you just let me know. We changed our mind. We don't want to debate with you.
Wrong.
Denied.
Wrong. Here's what really happened. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to pull out the YouTube stream live as we speak, where you came begging for a debate. You asked to debate Mark Laura. I said no. I said to him explicitly, you'll have to get back to by the juniors before you get a chance to snap at Mark Laura's heels. He went away, mumbled in his only comment he's ever had in his only video, which because we descended on it, all of us, Mad Facts, Chris, all of us. He then got more and more upset in the comment section. Then he started emailing me saying, I'm ready. I'll take you on. I'll take you on. We didn't come on looking to debate you. He came looking, I'll debate you. I'll debate you. I'll debate you. I checked with Mark. Is it worth his time debating? Mark's like, no. He's not worth the time. He's a has-been. I think, all right, I got. I'm an authoritarian after all. I like a bit of authority. And you're like, okay. And then he goes away. That's the actual time history of what happened. I got the emails. I got the video comments to prove it. So why are you lying? This is the thing I don't understand. If you lie this way, then people can just verify it. Do you realize how stupid you look, Mr. Butler? Do you want me to really pull up just your YouTube comments by timestamps and show you the chronology? It would take me 2 seconds to do that. Or your emails? I won't do that to you. Do you want me to pull them up? You came looking for Mark and Laura, and they said no. You then tried to get to me, and they said, no, don't do it. So, of course, I didn't. That's what really happened. And then one of your bright youngies came out trying to have a pop because he had at least some credibility, and he tried. And Laura was like, okay, I'll give him a chance. And then you shut them down. That's what happened. You pretended you didn't shut him down, but you're going to confess now. So they lie constantly and contradict themselves.
You know, he tries to make out he's this big, fearless, bloody, I debate this person, that person. And then I say, all right, then I will. He goes, oh, no, we won't. Right. And then they try to entrap, Frankie. Do you know the guy Frankie in the...
No.
Frankie goes to Hollywood fame.
There's a young guy. We've got a young guy in Devon who's a very keen, very good activist we have. He's called Frankie. And he's only about 20. He's young but incredibly keen. He stood for us for election a couple of times. And they tried to entrap him into a debate the other day.
Entrap?
With that.
Wow.
And when he was...
No. Would you like the email communication thread directly from me, from Frankie? I was in that communication thread. And I saw that communication thread go up to Laura and Mark, and I'm CC'd with one of your Fullerton reps, the Frankie Creature and Mark and Laura. You're not in the email thread, Eddie. So are you lying again to us? He came. And there was no entrapment. He initiated it. He tried to get a hold of me or Mark and Laura said, okay, I'll do it as a gracious thing. And then what happened? You clamped down on it. So when you say entrapment, again, you're lying. Easily verifiable, Mr. Butler. Do you intend to lie to all of Britain on behalf of Brighton? Is this what Tel Aviv is telling you to do? Because he's just blatantly lying. I mean, I don't want to violate personal emails, but I could just pull out the email showing you you're lying, mate. Why are you lying to Britain? Yeah, it's just barefaced lies, right? Maybe a response video structure with a little graphs and charts from Ralph to put this onto mess.
Look, we don't want you debating with. He's a young kid. He's only 20. He's only been, we don't want you debating them. And it would be stupid for Anne-Marie to debate them as well, frankly.
Yeah.
Or Tommy Robinson. They seem to look at Tommy. Why would Tommy Robinson want to debate them?
Yeah.
And so I'm a bit of a. It's a bit different for me. I've been around the block, and I've mixed with those people. It's a bit different for me. I'm a bit of a. I don't know what I wanted to say. I'm a bit
senile, forgetful, failing short-term memory recall, can't remember what you just said, wrestling to remove things from your cortex, or are you going to praise yourself? What is it?
I'm a political bruiser compared to...
I'm a bruiser.
Okay.
Oh mate, I'm sorry, but that's like that. I'm gonna bring that one out and slice that bit for a bit of a Twitter action. And I'm gonna have to read that. I'm a bit of a political bruiser. Let's play it again.
And I've been around. Why would Tommy Robinson want to debate them?
Yeah.
And so I'm a bit of a. It's a bit different for me. I've been around the block.
Oh yeah.
And I've mixed with those people. It's a bit different for me. I'm a bit of a.
Oh, say it.
I don't know what I wanted to say. I'm a bit.
Say it, mate.
I'm a political bruiser.
I'm a bit of a bruiser. Oh, suits you, sir.
I've been around
suits you.
I know it inside out. So it's a bit different if I did it. I don't particularly want to be honest. But anyway, but they wanted to entrap Frankie into it, some young kid, and then thought it was a great big victory when he didn't. That's the sort of pathetic line. When I
I've
was
noticed this kind of
disingenuous bastard.
when I said, okay, I'll do it then. Oh no, we don't want to do it with you. We don't want to do it with you. They're just they're an empty.
No, what you're
That's
afraid
it,
of is that
really.
Frankie might have actually been
That's it,
turned
yeah,
by Laura.
And they
If Frankie came on, Laura would have been very pleasant and nice and disassembled him just piece by piece in policy, right? Because they can't defend the policy. And, the only thing that probably saves Frankie is Laura's not a bruiser. Because if he was not a bruiser, then maybe you'd be all right, wouldn't you? But you see, Mad Fast, mate, you were right in the heart of the action, right? From the day from Amory Waters. Can you just see the amount of just blatant lying? Just blatantly disingenuous, isn't it? It's exactly not what happened, is it? I mean, just a liar, right?
okay, I don't want to go on about them, but they did their idea of a demo is to go up some hill in, I don't know, in a Pennines or someplace, hold a banner up and hide behind it because they can't show their faces, and they think they'll achieve something by going up a mountain. It's like that sort of a man who went up a mountain and came back and had a photo, and they hide behind the banner because they can't show their face.
He even tried to go for the man who went up a mountain idiom, and then halfway up he forgot the second part of the idiom. Did you see that? I think he's going to see now. If there was a man who went up the mountain, then he forgot how that whole idiom and archetype works, and he didn't know what to say. And and then he came down and had a photograph. I mean, I think he's losing his brain cells.
Faces. They're all anonymous whenever they go on any of these.
Mark Collette, Laura Tyler, myself, so many people use their real names. The people who don't are anonymous because they'll be fucking doxxed and sacked and called Nazis by people like you, lose their jobs, and they might have children to feed. If there was a free speech First Amendment that said you could not lose your job because of anything you said, you'd fucking see everyone's real name.
Oh yeah, everybody out there. Yeah,
everyone's real name be out there, but they're scared something would happen to them. So that's just a very disingenuous piece of logic, right?
It's not like they were holding a banner that's like saying "White Lives Matter," is it? It's not going to get you in any kind of trouble for just saying those three little words, is it? No,
but look at just even when I wore the White Lives Matter and the video is still spreading quite a lot of views now. Even then, the response from the white liberals, forget the fact that 32 of the joggers and packers were just about to go fucking full fucking metal jacket on me. The amount of venom and hate from the white liberals in London when they saw me wear White Lives Matter. Do you think ordinary nationalists need to risk that in this climate? And you claim that them not risking it means that they're scared or they don't know? Wrong again.
If they go on YouTube and put a comment up, it's an anonymous name. It's always a big butch name, isn't it? Like Ragnar Lothbrok or
watch this bit. He wants to now try to find a butch name. That's in touch with the internet generation. Now watch this. He has to think about it and look at what he comes up with. This bit is just fucking genius. He thinks, they come up with a big butch name, and then he tries to think of one and he can't. Then he tries to meme and he can't.
Superman or something like that. Superman, anonymous.
I think they should join with Antifa. Because none of them show their faces.
Superman. Mate, you look at this poor little face. I mean, he looks like a fucking cancer patient here. Look at you, mate. Look, are you seriously think you're going to appeal to even the millennials, let alone Zoomers Alpha, who come up with a real bitch name like Superman?
Guys, crack out the alts. It's time. Superman is rising.
Superman. I mean, mate.
Next video he does, everybody get on your alts. Get on the Superman alts. Let's go.
Hey, I got some of my kryptonite in my trousers for you, mate.
But if you've got such a ridiculously hardline profile, who wants to show their face and publicly admit they're in it because they're ruined for the rest of their life?
Well, this is why
No, you're wrong, Mr. Butler. Enough of us will come first and we will use our names. A lot of them. Mark does, Laura does, I do, a lot of us will. And when we storm our way through, we will make the environment better for those who are supporting us, but understandably remain anonymous. So don't you dare conflate our support for the people coming forth. Just enough of us have to use our names. The rest will follow the herd. So no. Very clever trick, but it doesn't work. And anyway, we are, of course, scared because, the meantime, all of us are called from now and forever will be called Superman 1, Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4. And you get Superman 14 is reserved for Laura. Mark will be Supergirl 14. There you go. Soften Mark up a bit, yeah?
I said I felt the name was appropriate because Patriotic Alternative is exactly what I saw it as being, as a niche and not a lot more.
A niche.
PA should be practically anonymous. That's what they are.
Have you noticed the guy with the Mets just laughs at the wrong points? Is that just me? He kind of laughs at things that are completely fucking disconnected, even what he's laughing at. He looks a bit embarrassed by zero brains over here. So
Okay,
zero brains over
Okay,
here.
right. So I wanna throw down the gauntlet to Mr. Butler, then, yeah. Mr. Butler, go up Mam Tour with a banner that says White Lives Matter and
Yeah,
show
do
your
it, mate.
face.
Do
Do it. Let's
Yeah,
see what
go on then.
happens to you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to see For Britain walk up the hill with White Lives Matter, all of you, on your White Lives Matter.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I'll tell you what, just you and Anne-Marie Waters, no one
Yeah.
else.
Uh-huh.
I want you to both to walk up the hill with White Lives Matter, and let's see how that goes down with Tel Aviv. I want you to walk up the White Hills and see if you're fucking suddenly your party has no more funding. Will you do it, Mr. Butler, Anne-Marie Waters? Do you believe White Lives Matter? Will you actually use the words White Lives Matter?
Yeah.
Will you wear a shirt that says White Lives Matter? Will you stand on a hill? Will you stand on the ground? Will you stand in your fucking bus stop where White Lives Matter? If not, don't pretend you stand for white lives because your name's public and you don't have the
Mr.
fucking
Butler, you
balls.
have to ask Mrs. Butler, you have to ask yourself, why do these red and green haired communists tolerate you so much? Why do they allow you to do the things you do? It's because your message is basically their own. You're saying nothing different. You're not saying anything that will damage the status quo, and you'll just, fall in line or be, cold. At any moment, you're no longer useful, right? You are the liberals who get the bullet first. So
Yeah, exactly,
yeah,
Matt First.
enjoy
Exactly.
saying, hide behind an anonymity. Oh, they're all anonymous. You just need to put your face out there, right? No. In the end,
But in the end, Matt, you hit the nail on the head, mate. That's a stroke of genius. Here's a challenge to you, Mr. and Mrs. Butler, right? While you butler for Israel, will you do what we ask you to do? Will you forget going up a hill? I think you
Yeah.
get a fucking heart attack and she'll probably be pissed off way up the hill. Will you go to your local bus stop and stand there with a sign that says White Lives Matter?
Yeah.
If don't fucking pretend for 1 second you represent the white people of England, because you do not. If you don't have the balls to stand there with just an A4 piece of paper saying it's okay to be white or White Lives Matter, you speak for nobody. No one in the nationalist movement. You're scared, you're cowards, and you lack the courage of conviction. Pussy-o. In it, rude boy.
They're just they can't show their faces. None of their avatars is their picture.
Yeah.
There's only a handful that would ever show their face on something like this. There's only one.
How many of us have shown our face? We make the same argument.
How many
Go
of
on,
us
mate.
need to show our face?
Yeah, but the difference is we know the consequence of the loss because of the culture. How many want to? And that's why your
That's
test
what I'm
is correct,
saying.
man.
How many do we need to show our face? What's enough for you, Mr. Butler?
Okay, but here's another one, Mr.
Everyone?
Butler. Do you believe England belongs to the English, Mr. Butler? If you believe England belongs to the English, will you just hold up a piece of paper on a cardboard that says England belongs to the English, signed by Mr. Eddie Butler, and stand in Parliament on Parliament Square or College Green? Will you do that? If you won't do that, then don't you dare mock someone who's hiding their name because they're scared what would happen to them. You're not scared. Everyone knows who you are. God knows the dossier on you is pretty large, given all the friends of your BNP who are no longer your friends seem to be very keen to share information about you with me. So, would you stand there saying England belongs to English? It's okay to be white. White lives matter. You won't. He won't do it, will he? Anne-Marie Waters won't. No. But gay lives matter? Oh, you're right there. Gay lives matter? Not a problem. Black and white unite? Not a problem. How about white lives matter? No, nothing. Fucking useless bunch of. Sorry, mate. I'm getting a bit worked up here.
One or two that ever show their face. It's just a fantasy. It's really a money making. Let's be honest. It's a money making operation for Mark, really.
Right.
There's a word. It's grifter, is it?
Listen to him now. He tries to work out the word grifter. Watch this
the
meme
word they
stop.
use, grifter.
I'm not. Do you know? I've always wondered what that. I've never been totally 100% sure on that word.
They've got their entire an entire sort of strange vocabulary. It's a bit like youths they call coppers feds.
No, you absolute fucking ignorant fucking buffoon. It's a language. It's a word in the English language. It's in the dictionary. We didn't make it up. It already existed. It was very common parlance in the 20s and the 30s in the Depression era. No one made up the word. Just might happen to be that we know how to read books with words in them and you don't. And we're very clever with memes. So no, grifter is not some made up word. It's a word in the fucking English language. Jesus Christ, where's this man from?
Don't they now? And instead of a house, they call it their yard. They've got their own slang, haven't they? Come back to my yard. The feds might get or something like that. So that's how they talk. But they've got their own silly little language, haven't they?
Oh God, haven't they ever?
Red pill. They've got a whole series of
griping and yeah.
They're fucking griping when he gets up their asses, doesn't it? They just hate it, right? Because they've got nothing in the equivalent of griping. They don't know what to do with griping. Dorsal is getting a little. He's obviously the injections are working again, but he's pondering. They use words like grifter. Where did that come from? English, Eddie Butler. They use other words like their own language. Where did that come from? It's called fucking memeing. And who are all these people? It's called the whole fucking next generation. And you know what the next generation say to people like him? Okay, boomer, isn't it? They don't care about what you have to say, mate. They look at you, go, okay, boomer, and they're just going to ignore you while playing a computer game, right?
I think we had it computer gaming, but I'm not sure.
We had it on this channel a lot, and it was just like the eyes would roll. Oh, great, let's do this again.
But they I don't want to go on that, but that whole thing is spawned from gaming, the gamer world.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we do. Every time you headshot someone in Call of Duty, oi, grifter.
Oh, grifter, but he thinks gripers are made from the gaming world. I'm like, mate, what? You've just like lost 20 years of your life, haven't you, Mr. Butler? You've lost any touch with the cultural norms. He has no idea what the culture was, does he? He's like a little cardboard cutout from like 1995 or something, isn't he? In 1996, he's like frozen in the mid-90s. He's got the same clothes, same shirt, and obviously she wheeled him out because he will take a knee to Her Majesty the Queen Bee. So he's obviously cocked into this woman, and he doesn't even have any idea what the next generation. I don't know about Zoomers or Alphas. I know they just would not even give him the time of day. A lot of millennials would relate to him. I'm pretty sure millennial people I know would just not relate to him. He's in that generational disconnect who gave up with technology, gave up with stuff. At the end, in the next few minutes when he stops talking, we're going to have a look at his blog and you'll see exactly what I mean when we look at Eddie Butler's blog.
Slagging each other off while they're playing Call of Duty or something. I'm going to kill you bastard or something. And they say worse things, don't they? They really slag each other off while they've got their headphones on. I've heard kids doing it. And it's an anonymous thing, so they kill their mate or someone they don't even know who lives in Kuala Lumpur, and they hide behind a bush and shoot them, and then they insult them and in the worst way possible. That's part of the game, isn't it? But that's actually exactly how that's politically how they operate.
It's kind of funny though, because the people I spoke it's funny how the slangs come over, even if they don't.
Yeah, you're right. You both guys, you guys are fucking clocked it. You figured out. It's all about, I should give Markham now. Tell Mark and Laura, give up on beer. They figured out. Give it up, guys. They figured out your entire political strategies based on Assassin's Creed. So now that they know, like, PA's entire operating infrastructure is working on the Assassin's Creed model. It's fucking game over, mate. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, let's just give up. Let England be replaced. It doesn't matter. Bring them all in. More doctors and engineers. In they come.
We just need to collect 100 more feathers, don't we? Jesus.
Yeah, 100 more feathers. Very good. I like it when he smiles. It always looks so worshipful. There's a sort of adoration in there that you can only get from either prescription meds or horse tranquilizers.
Even if they couldn't play the game. But no, I know what you mean. I've seen where it's come from myself. I have seen that.
No, you haven't, you fucking idiot. You have no idea where it came from. You didn't even know what the word grifter meant in English. And then you think that these things come from computer. No, they do not. Jeez, it's like I'm sorry. I feel bad for the guy because if he does have impediments, I don't want to say anything. But if he doesn't have impediments, oh boy, you're fucking dead in the water. I'll turn my attention to you when I'm finished my work.
Yeah, I know
Fully
Mark
keep
happens
his
to be
name,
into
but
gaming in a big way, and I think it's really a party of loner,
yeah, he,
single white male kids, nearly all very young, who are probably frustrated for genuine reasons about.
He just can't relate, can he, Mad Faz? He's
Wow,
just
so out of touch, isn't it?
he just doesn't. He's so out of touch. He doesn't get it. For Britain are so disconnected. All they've got is the ones with the slightly high IQ, sober ones from the TR movement left. They've got nothing left, right? They've got. He's just so disconnected. I don't know what to say.
14 words thing as well.
We must secure the
Yeah.
existence of
Just
white people and a future for white children. We must secure an existence of white people and a future for white children. We fucking will secure an existence of white people and a future for their children, including yours. Now what? So blow me, bitch. 14. Now what? What are you going to do? What are you going to do, eh? Allow it, fam.
You know what would be great? You know what would absolutely be fantastic if we could get the 37 words to be recited by these guys? I'd fucking love that.
Oh, do you think they get it? Do you think they get
I
it right
think they'd
in
go
one?
for it. I think
I
they'd
mean,
go
would they
for
get
it.
it right in one, or would they be like, God has endowed me, endowed me, would they? You wouldn't be able to recite 30. You can't even remember the fucking name of the book you're reading.
You get halfway.
Exactly. You can't remember, I mean, 37 words, yeah. Exactly. Blood Embracers are saying if Frank said to me, fuck it, let's give Eddie Butler a 14 in the chat. We must secure an existence of English people in a future for English children, Eddie. Do you agree? We must secure an existence of the Welsh people, a future for Welsh children. Do you agree? Or do you want to go, God has redeemed my empire? Huh?
For Brighton, anyone could be Welsh.
Hey, it's for Brighton. Oh yeah, for Brighton. Oh God, don't go there. The dungeons, the
For
it's
Brighton sex dungeon, yeah.
14. I
In
mean,
his castle, the For Brighton castle.
for Brighton. Mate, don't. I can't. I've got like they took blood from me today. But no, it's like 37. Fuck the 37. 37 will be crushed in a matter of time. I have geeks on it. But no, this 14. Do you agree with me, Mr. Butler? In simple English, perhaps numerology gets your fucking trigger down there. Obviously, nothing works down there anymore. Do you believe with the following statement, Mr. Butler? We must secure an existence of Scottish people and a future for Scottish children. Do you agree with that sentence? I mean, no? Is it a North Sea sentence? Is it a North Sea sentiment? How about we must secure an existence of the Irish people? This be up to your mistress's liking. We must secure an existence of the Irish people and a future for Irish children. Is that okay with you? Is that a problem for you? Yeah? Fucking idiot. He's just shut up, mate.
Very, very frustrated about their lot in life. White young kids, they've got nothing really to look forward to. They're
No shit.
They're abused by
Why is that?
the mass media, the BBC. Their education system rejects their history, doesn't teach them their history, and so you can see how some would be
this is why
putty in his hands in a way, which is sad actually.
I've been knocking,
it's jealousy.
It's
It's
jealousy,
jealousy,
Garvey.
But you know, it's envy. I'll tell you what, let's look at this, right? You have to look at this and you have to put on a kind of historical narrative and a psychological profile. What actually happened in nationalism? You had the three big greats, if you like, right? You had Mosley, then you had obviously, Powell, then you had an attempt by Bowden, and then Griffin blows and sinks the fucking HMS BNB. Nicola Griffin sinks the
Nicola
fucking...
Griffin, yeah.
Nicola Griffin, for $700 a bob, has sunk the fucking HMS nationalist movement. But what did he do? He did one important thing.
Out of it.
But he did one important thing. He spawned two wonder kids. And one of them has come round, and the other one's still running around. It's hard to know what Mr. Golding's up to. And I'm not going to
diversity first.
Yeah, I'm not going to make a judgment on that because I haven't analysed him fully yet. But one of the wonder kids has come.
Oh, you
good.
haven't seen diversity first.
No.
They've rebranded themselves. Have you not seen that? The latest social media post. Yeah.
They've gone full cock.
Oh, mate, you should see diversity.
Oh, I will,
first.
mate. I've been very, very busy with software. I've literally have very few spare time. I'll check that out. But basically, the history goes Then you have the father-son archetype passing it on. You got these two wonder kids spread. One of them, Mark Lett, is fucking. You don't have to like it. He leads the dissident right. I don't care if you like it or not. That's just the data, right? So he leads the dissident right. So he's coming through, and that's the next bet for the nationalist movement and for the English people, already. But the people first, for the British people, that's your best bet. That's where your money should be. Don't know about Golding. These guys failed with their 30, 40 years to deliver shit. So Nicola Grifton is gone away and he's doing his $700. Let's LARPers playing knights in white nighties or knights in white satin or whatever the fuck you want to do. $700 a pop. And you go down and take a knee for a little poster to follow an Irish lesbian who's under Israel's control. I mean, aren't you ashamed of yourself, Mr. Butler? Are you ashamed of yourself?
For a guy who was in the BNP, surely
it's
he knows
embarrassing,
about
mate. I've had
certain
messages.
aspects.
Yeah, you know certain cardinal rules. Shall we say certain rules that should never be crossed, certain core principles about the state of nature? He'd understand if he even has any right-wing credentials about the state of nature, he should know certain truths to be inalienable. Yet here you are, wandering around, carrying the shopping for Brighton's lesbian leader, who's Irish, running around, and she gives you a little badge over here, and you go, yes, ma'am, you know, ma'am. And you somehow want to take pots at the only fucking hope we have in a Wunder Kid. You know, unless Mark gets killed by the number 14 bus. Did you get that joke? Unless you get killed by the number 14 bus. So far, it's so good, right? And what are you? You're suffering fucking envy, aren't you? So your legacy is to carry her bags around. You fucking cock. Yeah. Fuck off.
Tommy this week. But one thing I will say is Gary made a post at the end of it all where he finally made some kind of sense where he said that working class white men and working class black men both feel disenfranchised. Finally, it's like finally somebody's hit him on the head with a stick, and he said, and that we basically need to understand each other's shoes and maybe actually be on the same side. I thought, brilliant! It's only taken you 5 hours of filming to work that out, but.
I'm sorry. Did you just? I mean, I'm sorry, but hyperviolence could be a human cries. Is the creature on the left, Zero Brains, telling me that after 5 hours of deep analysis, someone thought white and black working class people should unite to save the white nation? Do you know how many black working class people there are males? Almost none. Yeah. The entire future of the British people depend on saving white working class males, particularly encouraging them to have nuclear fucking families like now. And you're telling me that your great revelation is black and white working class should unite. Let's leave you as head of strategy for Bob Britain, because I can only do as well, right?
Oh, yeah. I endorse this message.
We in the nationalist movement endorse Zero News's message. Black and white unite. Yeah, black and white. You keep running that, yeah? I want to see you run that down Brixton. I want you to come down Railton Road, August the 1st, by yourself. You try to run that with the BLM crowd and let's see how much they want to unite with you, mate. You want to see how much love you're going to get, yeah?
I thought that's right. How do you feel about that?
Well, the group in society, in Western society, Anglo-Saxon, in the Anglosphere, and I say the Anglosphere, that is most degraded by the powers that be, most despised, is the white working class. And that goes in America. They call them rednecks and all this other despise and sneer them.
Is this by the middle class elites?
Yeah.
The middle class leftists.
But yeah, they're the ruling class. The ones I said before, like the Guardianistas and independent readers, who run the media world as well. So the teaching profession essentially, and the universities.
Oh, bless him. Look at his little brain trying to grasp on the two parts of the cathedral and not being able to put it together yet. You see, so there must be lefties or Gardenistas, isn't it, or something? Oh, bless. I mean, on one hand, we should endorse his chairmanship of the party. I think this can only work in our favor.
Ralph, if you want to see diversity first, can I share my screen?
Oh, mate, yeah. I think this is the end. I think he's done with PA, so I'm done with him. Let's watch diversity. Let me kill this. Let's exit full screen. Let's go into this. The blood thing is coming. Add to stream. Shall I add this bit? Yeah, okay. And let's kill the title of that.
There we go.
What's this now, mate? Let's see.
This is a social media. I don't know.
Can everyone see it? Hang on a second. Sorry. Whoops. Sorry. Whoops,
Can you see it?
Yeah. Can everyone see the chat?
Can everyone see this? Britain first, right? This is their message.
Where are the white people? What is this? Mate, what is this going to do with Britain first? Are you fucking? Is this a meme?
No, this is real.
No, this is a meme, right? Jamie's in the chat. Hello, Jamie.
No, it's
Hang on
real.
a second. No, this is a meme. Are you serious?
Yeah.
But this is Paul Golding. You're fucking with me, mate.
And they still call Britain first racist.
But where
the
are the
word
white?
racist has no
But
meaning anymore.
But where are the British people? Where are the British people? What the fuck is this, mate? Hang on. You're killing me, right?
Vote for diversity first.
Where are the British people? There's a MAGA hat. There's a. Oh, you're kidding. What happened to Paul Golding? When did this happen?
Don't know.
Are you serious? You're joking, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck? It's actually real.
Yes, it's real.
What is this? Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
Sent it to you on Twitter as well.
Jesus Christ! Let's add a correction. Maybe two Wonder Kids were spawned from the Nick Griffin era, but one of them maybe is I don't know what's happening to him. But what's with lots of black and brown people? Let me put the link in the chat because Jamie's surrounded. Oh, I mean, no, hang on. This is mad reaction. We don't let people on. I forgot.
No.
I thought it was my stream.
Slap.
I forget, man. I just forget. It's just instinctive. I see good chaps and I go, "Hey, for the one." But that's crazy. So why did they do that? But what is that strategy? That's absurd. I mean, help me out, mate, Matt.
We're not racist, guys. We're not racist. Can you not see we're not racist? Please, stop calling us racist. Britain first is not racist.
But what does that mean, man?
Please stop calling us racist. Look, we got with brown and black people now. You see?
Yeah, you got one black guy, one brown or black guy, and maybe 100,000. Okay, but the 99,000 people should be fucking Welsh, Irish, Scottish, English. That's it. There's no other strategy there. Otherwise, how can you make the message make sense?
It's just the fact they're trying to plead to say that, you know.
So they're basically taking virtual knees because they're cocking, aren't they? Okay, they're cocking. But that's actually really good news for us, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, if they keep cocking we keep softening them on one side and keep pushing them into the Tory party, what's left? The only differentiator is they hate Muslims, and that's easy because then when we've kind of herded them in there in that corral and they're only Muslim haters, then we can turn to the Muslims, go like, do you agree with us Muslims in the Conservative Labour? Are those guys just Muslim haters? They'd be like, yeah, they're Muslim haters. We're like, okay, job done. And then we kill these ones out, right? Let's end that. These guys are idiots. Why would Paul Golding cock? I'm very surprised. Is he personally cocked? He must have approved.
We don't know. I don't know.
But he must have approved of that message. Is that a formal message from Britain First?
Yes, from their social media. Yeah, this is an approved message.
But their messages have never had that before. This must be very new, right?
This is very new. This is like
very
2 or 3 days ago. Yeah.
Wow. So something happened. I wonder if they've got a donation. Oy vey. Oy vey. I wonder if they got a donation, or that's very. Don't you find that political? Don't you find that a very big piece of political news? Because Golding's never cocked before. He's never cocked, right? Golding? He hasn't cocked prior to this.
He hasn't really. Yeah, well, he hasn't cooked. Yeah, and he hasn't really.
No, he's avoided questions.
He's avoided.
Yeah, he's avoided questions. That's for sure. Whereas Mark's never avoided the question, never cocked. So Mark's pretty immune about that. But wow, so that just makes him like for Britain. I wonder if what's happening. I wonder if they're going to end up with one big fat alliance between for Britain.
Well, this is what it seems like, isn't it? They're all melding into one sooner or later. They've got to. I mean, if PA is going the way it is, it's gonna be a job.
But they know it's coming. They don't know what to do, right? And that's why, if you look at it, have you noticed the cross pollination and cross fertilization on the streams now with Hot Walk? Have you noticed them cycling everyone around?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that pattern? They're trying to build up a little spin around this, but they've got nothing to stand on except we hate Muslims, black and white, and go Israel. Yeah. So it's go Trump, go Israel. We hate Muslims, black and white, unite. What else is there? So the only differentiator between the Tory party is we hate Muslims. That's it. It's as simple logic as that, man. So anyway, that was our little take. I wonder if I have. Let me see if I have it. But you guys should go look at. Let me give you the name. Let me just look at my BNP mates, and everyone should go look at
the blog.
Yeah, you should look at when he says, "Oh, these guys are just sitting on the internet." Let me just check. Well, I keep getting more and more Eddie Butler stuff. It's just going off the fucking phone's going off the hook. That's why I turn my notifications off. Bloody hell. Here comes all the BNB guys. Did you know this about Butler? Did you know this about Butler? Do you know this about Butler? I was like, hang on a minute. EddieButler.blogspot.com. Let me type this in. Hang on a minute. EddieButler.blogspot. I must warn you guys straight up ahead before I share my screen and stuff. I've got to warn you about this this masterpiece. It is really fucking cutting edge, yeah. So just in case you guys are not prepared for this level of next gen stuff, here we go. This is the cutting edge of Eddie Butler for Britain. And if you take one of his engagements, how does he do? Let's look at whatever it takes. No comments. No one's supposed to comment. Okay. What's your social engagement then for everyone else? Education for survival, part 3. No comments. No one's posting a comment. Okay. Anything else you're saying of any value to the public? How about part 2 of education for our survival? No comments. I could comment. Oh, I'm not part of this site. Basically, he's got 0 traction, and he's been doing this since 2012. So 8 years, 0 traction in his messaging. I'm not sure what else to say. Eddie Butler for Brighton. That's it. That's Eddie Butler, man. So anyway, guys, mad reaction. I'm conscious this is a mad reaction, and I know I should not allow people on. We should move on to our mad reaction end of the stream. But that was it, guys. I think anything else, Matt?
No, that's everything. I just thought you'd.
You have got me intrigued. I did not know about the for Britain first. I'm just quite disturbed by that, actually. Is there any more news around it?
I haven't looked again since a few days ago, but I just thought, when you said gold, I was like,
I see. You sent it to me on my Twitter.
Yeah.
I just saw that on my Twitter. Yeah, I was in the doctors and stuff. Britain should name diversity first. Oh, very good. All right, guys, it's good to go. Are we good, Matt?
Yeah, that's good, man. Right.
Everyone sub, like, share Matt Fires. You know where to find him. I didn't have time to do the art. Never trust the Indian workers to run the equipment. Never let them run the equipment. Matt Fires let me run the equipment today, and he went all wrong. So
giving it a test. I don't think we'll do it again.
We don't think we'll do that again. We'll let the white guy run it. It's my. Indian software developers are a lot cheaper, yeah.
Yeah.
So one of my mates said to me, yeah, but that's a myth. Yeah, it takes 5 white guys to manage one of them. So even though it's cheaper to hire the Indian developers, fucking overheads, mate, overheads.
It takes 5 white guys to fix the mess the Indian guy.
Yeah, just to fucking manage it. Make sure he doesn't keep saying yes, and thank you and shit. It's all that no boys have out. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys later.
Guys.
Peace out.
Peace out.